How you doing, everyone? So I was chilling this morning. I got home from the gym. I was eating my breakfast, drinking my coffee, just scrolling through the phone, and then this popped up. So I want to show you guys this.
So you want to tell these niggas the title of the album?
Yeah, sure. It's called, the title of the album is JPEGMAFIA, Danny Brown, Scaring the Hoes, Volume 1.
Exactly.
Scaring the Hoes, Volume 1. We're taking control.
Yeah, and you know where that, literally it came from, with me, because I'm just the internet nigga. Like, we always talk about that shit to each other. Cause
It's so funny. Yeah.
I know. We always talk about this shit to each other.
Please put this somewhere so people can see this shit.
Yeah, we're telling I'm telling them now. Where all y'all look at JPEGMAFIA as like the super Reddit 4chan.
They think I'm the nigga on Reddit and doing
it's
all
been
that
me.
shit. It's actually
been-
this nigga. I don't be on that shit at all. I come in and this nigga starts showing me shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Bro, I be watching Breakfast Club every morning.
That's
I'm
so
a regular
normie to
black
me.
man. I'm a regular black man.
There we go. And I was scrolling through and saw that, and I immediately did the like turned to my wife. I was like, "This is big," and she's like, "What is big?" And I was like, "Let me explain it to you." And how I explained it, I was just like, "This rules so hard," because it's like, well, first off, I really fuck with JPEGMAFIA. I don't listen to JPEGMAFIA nearly as much as Danny Brown. Like, I listen to Danny Brown a lot, and I've listened to JPEGMAFIA enough to know that I respect the hell out of the guy. I don't always, like, fuck with all of his shit, but his shit is interesting enough for me to, like, be like, oh, this is cool. Whether I like it or not, like, what's happening right now is cool. You ever have that with something where you may not completely fuck with it, but you appreciate what's happening? Now, a lot of it I like, some of it I don't completely get. But either way, Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA, they sit in a similar space. And them coming together creates one of my favorite thing. So I always like Danny Brown albums, but I've said this before on a previous actually I did a video about Danny Brown last week, I think. But yeah, and I think I mentioned it there. I love his albums, but almost as much as I love his albums, I love hearing him feature on someone else's shit, and especially to feature on someone else's shit that's kind of a little bit weird and out there, because Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA does this a lot too. But the cool thing about actually, I even think I was, when describing Danny Brown, no, you know what? I didn't reference JPEGMAFIA. I referenced MF Doom. But, like, the fun thing about Danny Brown is it's like hearing Two Live Crew rap over MF Doom. And JPEGMAFIA does that a little bit too, although his beats are substantially weirder than MF Doom. And so basically, and I believe JPEGMAFIA makes all of his beats and stuff like that. So to have JPEGMAFIA's beat making sort of come together with Danny Brown's rapping and shit like that, it's literally like my favorite thing when it comes to rap, you know what I mean? Because that's kind of like just for me, for art in general, like I like weird art that has this sort of mainstream flair to it, and that's kind of think what you get with a lot of like Danny Brown and shit like that. And yeah, like with the analogy I made earlier, fucking Two Live Crew over MF Doom, you get the weird shit, but you also get something that like the average listener could glob onto, and then that segues into them into checking out the weirder shit. But yeah, either way, this got me incredibly excited, incredibly hyped up. There's a lot of potential here, because I think a lot of times I've seen, you sort of see this with my favorite rap group, Run the Jewels. If you like, when I listen to a Killer Mike album, I go, the rapping's really good, and sometimes the production's not always my preferred thing. And then with LP's really good at rapping, but sometimes he gets a little too fucking like esoteric and stuff like that, and it's like you can only listen to that for so long. But the beats themselves are fucking unreal, over the top. So you take sort of a mainstream sound like Killer Mike and all of his instincts, and you bring it together with a more experimental vibe like LP and his production and stuff, and you bring that, and it like they feed off of each other and bring out the best of both worlds. So you have a similar thing with Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA. So it's like, I think about it almost where those instances where Danny Brown would almost maybe hold, and this being said, Danny Brown gets pretty weird, but at the same time, anytime Danny Brown would have instincts of like maybe holding it back a little bit, you have JPEGMAFIA over there being like, nah, dude, be fucking weird. And then instincts where JPEGMAFIA might be like going a little too weird, Danny Brown goes, well, why don't we pull that back here? I don't know. I'm a big fan of the collaboration with shit. You know, I think in a lot of scenarios you do need someone at the helm leading the ship, but no one knows everything. So it's always good to have collaboration with shit. And seeing two rappers that I respect highly deciding that they're gonna, like, if you would have asked me, you'd be like, who'd you want to see Danny Brown do an album with? I'd almost most likely be like JPEGMAFIA. So that's why it excited me on an extra level where I was just like, oh, this is who I would pair together. It's crazy that they're doing an album together. And then I like the name of it. What they call it? You're scaring the hoes or whatever, which I do think. That's a fair one too, because I got to imagine like Danny Brown and a JPEGMAFIA crowd. It's just a bunch of dudes that either look like me or have my similar vibe. You know what I mean? It's not like Danny Brown's probably getting a little more pussy than JPEGMAFIA, but just purely off the music, I don't know if it's like the prog rock version of hip hop. I don't know how much pussy's in the crowd at a Danny Brown and JPEGMAFIA show. So you're scaring all the hoes or whatever they called it. It's a very appropriate title, but I'm pretty fucking hyped for this. I think it's going to be good. I think there's not a lot of options for this to go bad, in my opinion. So I'm excited. You'll definitely be hearing me talk about this. So until then, we just got to wait. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace.